Going to try to be a little bit more active on here over the next couple of weeks, especially as spring practice is officially among us. We have a lot that you and I have to discuss. We have a lot that you and I have to report on. A lot of things that are happening right now as we speak. There have been a lot of noise. There's been a lot of noise that's been going around all of college football with everything that's going on in the SEC, with the noise with the transfer portal now, the NCAA officially passing a blind transfer legislation. We'll talk about that. What does that mean for the incoming transfers that are coming in? We'll discuss that and all more. But nonetheless, guys, we are live. This is the Southern Sports Scene here on YouTube, wherever you're watching us on Inside Gamecocks Live, or you're watching us on my personal X account or on the Southern Sports Scene YouTube page. Make sure you all do us a favor. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe down below. Turn on the bell notifications so that you are notified every time we go live, post a new video or post a new short here on the Southern Sports Scene. If you guys want to get involved in the show, we have our call-in link. We obviously have the Twitter Spaces that are officially open, or not the Twitter Spaces, but we have a link that we have posted in the description, in the comments section, that we encourage you guys to get involved with. We encourage you to get into the stream if you are available. Every live show brought to you by our good friends at Frost Buddy. Going over frostbuddy.com. Use our promo code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase. That's code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase. Also, thank you to our friends over at Chike Nutrition. With 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 1 gram of fat, you can get the best available food, or the best available coffee on the market right now. Take advantage of it. Go use our deal in the description below. 843-850-2534 is the call-in link. 843-350-2534 is the call-in link if you want to get involved in the show. We already have about 40 of you in it. Make sure you do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe down below. And make sure you like and retweet any opportunity, any exposure will be helping us. So we will also talk a little bit of some UFL action. We'll get some previews from that department as well. We'll talk a little bit about some matchups for this weekend. But first of all, let's talk about what in the hell is going on with the Colorado coaching circuit. Because right now they are the joke of college football. Amazing how this team took over the internet by storm when Deion Sanders came in and really, really put a new note, or put a stamp on Boulder and said, hey, we're going to be contenders and we're going to recruit at a high level. Well, you did initially. And then along the way, when you have really bad hires, when you have guys that can't mesh together, when you have a lot of these guys, you come in with your Louis and all this other fancy stuff, that's great, but you can't back it up, guys. He hasn't been able to do that. And I don't think that there is a chance that Colorado does. Ryan Staub said a couple weeks ago regarding from him transferring from Colorado to Tennessee a couple weeks. This was 2 weeks ago. And this is what he said. In 3 years at Colorado, I've learned just as much, or he hasn't had as much coaching as he had just being here. So let's listen.
In my 3 years of 3 years of playing college football, I haven't had as much coaching as I've had in the first month that I've been here. So every time he pulls me to the side after a rep and talks to me about my feet or my base or the way my off arm was on the throw or whatever happened on the rep. Like, I mean, it's cool. It's a lot of special coaching. I haven't been coached this much. And again, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and improve.
What does that tell you? It's the fact that Colorado does not invest. That's why I've said that Deion needs to be on the hot seat this year. Everything that he's done from a social media standpoint, great. You've driven engagement up in CU. The problem is that results on the field do not follow. Whether you like it or not, this is a coaching staff that is more worried about getting their social media numbers up and creating sound bites than they are actually producing dudes to go to the next level. It is a media circus. That was put on full display when Deion said that Shador's number 2 would be retired. When there are plenty of other legends that came through Boulder that wore the number 2, that are much, much better athletes compared to Shador Sanders. And who are the best? You've had guys like Deion Figures who came in, guys that absolutely took over, won a Jim Thorpe and a Jack Tatum award in 92. I'm not sure if Bieniemy wore number 2, but damn, it was pretty close, man. No, he wore number 1. But this is what I'm getting at, is that all of what has gone on at CU has been nothing more than a damn circus. That's all it has been, and that's all it will be. You really think those dudes are invested in their team? They're not. The results show. You have a quarterback issue, number 1. Number 2, your defense has been absolutely awful. You've had dudes that you say that could pan out in the league. They haven't. And now you're going into 2026 as a must-win situation. I don't think Deion Sanders is in Boulder after 2026. I don't. And I get that his buyout is a lot. Here's what I don't understand is the fact that you still put your trust in a guy like that, and he's obviously not shown you anything. Hasn't shown you one damn thing. What is one thing that Deion Sanders has done at Colorado that was better than his previous predecessors? Almost nothing. He's got 3 more wins in conference play compared to his predecessor. By the way, he's got, I think, the same amount of losing seasons as his predecessor. 2. He'll probably end this year with another losing season, barring some miracle that they finally pull their head out of their ass and they pull it together in Big 12 play. I don't know if it'll happen because of the lack of dudes that you have on your roster. That's just the bottom line. I don't know if Colorado finishes above 500. I have a hard time believing it. But again, I could be wrong. I could be proven wrong at any point in time. But guys, you have a tough road ahead of you. If you continue to put on this display like, oh, we're going to put our jersey we're going to put our social medias on the back of our jersey. Oh, you can follow us. Yeah, you can follow them. You can get your social medias numbers up. But what is the production going to look like? It's not going to be there. It will not be there because you are a joke as a program. You don't develop dudes. So what are you going to do? Colorado obviously has a lot of questions that they have to get addressed at the end of the year. Will they finally get everything together to where they can be contenders in the Big 12? I don't know. but they're not doing it with Deion Sanders at the helm. Whether you like it or not, Deion Sanders was not ready to step out onto the big stage and be in a situation like where Colorado is currently at. He wasn't ready. He never was ready. And I've talked about it a lot on this channel, dating back to when we were Fourth and Forever. I don't have any faith in what Deion is doing. I don't believe that he is developing dudes to get ready for the next level. I don't believe it. Until I am proven wrong, which this year is D-Day. He's got this year to figure it out. They have another season like it was last year. Look at how many transfers you lost. One of your quarterbacks that was a starter last year, your best offensive tackle. And by the way, Jordan Seaton came out like a week after Ryan Staub had made his comments and said the same things about Colorado. Think about it. The best athlete that you had was a freshman and sophomore offensive tackle. And he left. Because the money was good, and he knew that he was going to get developed into a first-round tackle. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth. So, a lot of things that Colorado has to fix, but they got to do it in a freaking hurry. A hurry. Or else things are just going to continue to go down the toilet like they have. We'll see, man. Trinidad Chambliss spoke at a press conference yesterday and had some things to say about the difference between Pete Golding and Lane Kiffin. Now, I think that this kind of ultimately, I wouldn't say it's a grudge type of thing. I do think that those are two completely different personalities, though. Pete Golding, when I spoke with him at the Sugar Bowl, is not even close to what Lane Kiffin is. He's not. That's just the bottom line. Those are two polar opposite figures when they speak.
Different under Golding than the previous coach?
I would say, just, the personalities are a little different than, our old coach and, Coach Golding. I'd say he's more of like a team guy. And, we really value, his leadership, whatever he says. He's kind of show you fast as I could tell, or he's show you fast as I could tell you. He leads by his actions, and, we really appreciate that.
Different under Golding than the previous coach?
He's just talking about the personalities, but I do think that speaks volumes. I'll be honest. Because Trinidad pretty much put it all on the line right there. He told you what he thought about that team, and he told you what he thought about Lane. I'm glad that Golding is more of a team guy. He's been that his entire career. I think he's a guy that you can rally around. And look, the personalities are obviously different. Yes, he's more of a team guy. Do I think that Lane Kiffin is a team guy? Sure. He puts it on display, but Lane still has a lot to prove. I'll be honest with you. We'll see what he does at LSU. I'm not going to say that this was Bush League, in my opinion. I don't think it was. I don't think it was a bad thing to say about a coach, because those are two different personalities. I'm sure that Trinidad obviously respects the hell out of him. Shit, Lane recruited him out of the Division II. You obviously got to have some respect for that, because he wouldn't have brought him into this offense if he wasn't a good fit. Obviously, he was a good fit. Look at what he's done. There's obviously something good when it comes to that side of the field. But there is a lot of differences between the two. Lane has this reputation of being a troll and a guy that has always been about Lane. It's not my fault that he put that moniker upon him. It's his own. He's shown it over and over with his actions, with him, how things ended up with the end of the Ole Miss era. Obviously, there's still a little bit of animosity towards that. How he acts on social media at times. I'm not going to say how he acts towards the media. In my opinion, the media puts it on themselves with how they act towards him. Sorry. But Lane still has a lot to prove when it comes to him being a team type of coach. And I think a good bit of that comes from his previous guys that he's coached under. I don't know if Monty was like that. I don't want to assume that that's what happened, but I don't also want to put his dad's name out there. I love Coach Kiffin. I think he's one of the best coaches out there in college football right now. I do think that there are a lot of differences between the two. I think Golding is in a divine opportunity right now to take over a program that's coming off of a historic season and is going to continue to build off of that historic season. But who's going to respond first? Who's going to have the better record when it's all said and done? Who's going to show up in big moments? Lane Kiffin didn't do that at Ole Miss. Yes, he won a college football playoff, but there were some games that got away from him. There were some games where you thought Ole Miss could have done a lot better, where you thought Ole Miss was this close to getting over the hump. Do I think they still make the college football play, or they still make that deep run in the college football playoff with Lane as your head coach? Yes, I do. The personnel didn't change whenever Lane Kiffin left to go take the LSU job. Majority of the personnel was still the same. They're the team that made it all the way to the semifinal. Were there a lot of guys that left to go to LSU? Yeah. But other than that, guys, Ole Miss has always shown that they are a reload and regroup type of team. I get that Lane has had a phenomenal offseason when it comes to the portal and how he's recruited. He's done really well in both of those departments. That's why he's got the number one transfer portal class. But you also have to look at how do they perform on the field. We have seen this from LSU before. Can they get developed the right way? That is the ultimate question when we talk about this LSU team. They're arguably always, every single year, they have more talent than anyone else in college football. That is my own opinion. You can disagree with me, but God dog, dude. It's hard to deny the type of talent that is on that roster. And yet they consistently fall short. Why? Because they're not developed right. They don't have the right staff in place. They make stupid ass hires. Whether it be at head coach, whether it be at OC, DC, whatever it is. First 2 years under Brian Kelly, it was fine. The last 2 years was absolute misery. And guess what happened? The power struggle between Brian Kelly and the administration that got the governor involved ultimately led to his downfall. There is no way around it but that. Now, how does Lane Kiffin respond to all the pressure that's on him? I do think that LSU is under the most pressure right now in college football, simply because the fans have heard all season about what type of team this is supposed to be. This is a team that has a lot of talent. This is a team that is surrounded by arguably the most talented roster in college football, with the best coaching staff in college football, with one of the best offensive play callers in Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr., with a top-tier defensive coordinator like Blake Baker. My thing about it is LSU's defense going to finally be able to stop a mobile quarterback with him at the helm? We'll see. I think Ole Miss is still in for a really solid season. I think they are still a college football playoff player. I think the winner of the LSU and Ole Miss game is going to be a participant in the college football playoff, going to be one of the last SEC teams to get into the CFP. But what is success for Lane Kiffin in year one? I want to transition to that. I think a 9 or 10 win season is obviously what a lot of fans are expecting. No question about it. What is year one with with a guy like Sam Levitt, who's still coming off of his injury? What does that look like? I have already expressed my opinion and said I don't think that it'll make much of a difference. He's going to miss most of camp. That's fine. Get your other Qs some reps. Get your other guys some really, really solid reps that they obviously deserve. What I'm excited is to see the development of Landon Clark. Can he be a solid number 2 option, as he's obviously fighting for? Okay. What does that look like? What does the rest of this squad look like? Tamarcus Cooley looked really good last year. Jace Brown had an awesome catch. Prince-Will Monmielen has a lot of potential. DJ Pickett's going into his second full year. Trey Wilson from Florida. Let's see what he looks like. TJ Daugherty looks absolutely incredible as a senior linebacker. What is the USC transfer, Husan Longstreet? Him and Landon Clark are fighting for the number 2 spot. I'm excited to see what both of them bring in spring practice. There's still a lot of competition between the two. And to be honest, guys, I think there is going to be a lot of pressure at the quarterback position. Like, I'm not really surprised that it is. But how do these guys respond? That ultimately is what is going to determine how good LSU gets for this year. With the amount of guys that you've been able to get throughout this season, how do you respond? It's obviously something that you have to think about and consider when it is all said and done. All right, let's take a break real fast. We'll get to some more news around college football. You're listening in or tuned in or watching us here on the Southern Sports Scene.
Guys, I want to tell you about our friends over at Frost Buddy. It is drinkware engineered to keep your beverages exactly how you want them. Whether you're heading out for an adventure or just powering through your day, Frost Buddy's flagship product, the Universal Buddy, replaces the need for multiple can coolers by fitting virtually every 12-ounce and 16-ounce can bottle you drink, sodas and seltzers to coffee and sparkling water, all in a single versatile design. Constructed with high-quality double-walled stainless steel and thoughtful features like a flexible silicone lid and a tapered shape that fits most cup holders, Frost Buddy keeps drinks cold for 12 hours and hot for up to 6 hours. so you get consistent temperature control, whether it's an iced drink on a hot afternoon or a hot coffee on the drive to work. Built to last, field tested for durability, and backed by a 30-day return policy, Frostbuddy makes everyday moments from tailgates and beach days to backyard cookouts and commutes more enjoyable. Going over and click the link below and use promo code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase when you visit our friends over at frostbuddy.com. And when you use that promo code SSS15. Are you tired of spending upwards of $7 to $8 on coffees that are full of sugar and high in fat? Well, look no further than Chike Nutrition, the brand redefining what coffee can do for your day. Chike Nutrition combines the rich, familiar taste of real coffee with 20 grams of high-quality protein and the energy of 2 shots of espresso, giving you both fuel and function in every scoop. Available in a variety of crave-worthy flavors like mocha, caramel, vanilla, and many more, Chike delivers smooth, cafe-style iced coffee that mixes instantly with water or your favorite milk, with no clunky blender or complicated prep needed. Each serving is designed to be low in sugar, packed with protein, and loaded with real espresso, so that you can get a sustained energy boost that helps power your morning, workout, or busy afternoon without the crash that comes from sugary coffee drinks. Whether you're looking for better nutrition in your coffee routine or a smarter way to stay energized and full longer, Chike makes it simple. Scoop, shake, sip, and enjoy. If you want to take advantage of the new year and get in the best shape of your life, click the link below and get yourself 10% off of your first order over at ChikeNutrition.com.
The NCAA has passed a blind transfer legislation in Division I. It is reining in when athletes can transfer and enroll at a new institution. So that is an athlete who unenrolls from their current school and enrolls at a new university outside of the transfer portal window. The vote comes after the NCAA FBS Oversight Committee recommended the changes in February. The legislation applies to all D1 sports and takes effect immediately. The penalties for the programs will be a suspension of the respective head coach for 50% and a fine of 20% of that sports budget. Players are not required to choose a new school in the portal window. They just have to make their intention to leave during that window. The issue of blind transfers as a trend, obviously, with Xavier Lucas. We talked about him a couple years ago in 2020 in the in the spring of 2025. I thought that Xavier Lucas was a good standout corner. I thought he had some really good moments at the end of the day. Mark Allnut said this: "We felt this was appropriate to place an emphasis on this rule with where we are in Division I football. We have a window for student athletes to notify their school when they would like to enter the transfer portal. If there is movement without going through the process as it is legislated, the committee felt there needed to be significant penalties." And obviously the attorneys are going to lash out on this. Schools cannot prevent athletes from obtaining an education from the institution of their choice. Many expect a handful of lawsuits to be filed against the NCAA around the new penalties. Yeah, I expect that was going to happen. I know Darren Heitner mentioned something about that. He's been very active recently. Sources across college football has expressed concern on 3 in recent weeks that rosters could be rated. The pros rules were not implemented. Programs do not have a way to add players ahead of the season without a spring transfer portal. I mean, the blind transfer thing is really interesting because you have these guys that pretty much go under the radar. The transfer portal window ends and boom, nobody's really declared where they're going yet. And I think part of that is weird because here's what I would do. I think if you want a blind transfer, you have to be able to know exactly where you're going ahead of time before you even during that window. Just do that. I don't understand where the lawsuits are coming from. I want to be able to get my guy Philip Chang on here to kind of discuss this. I know I've mentioned this a lot. I really want to get him on so that we can discuss this and a lot more. I think he'll have a lot more insight to this. We'll obviously have some questions that we can address with him. But obviously, that's a sticky slope for me. But that's going to do it for us here on the Southern Sports Scene. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe down below. Turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live, post a new video, or post a new short here on Triple S. By the way, guys, make sure you also give us a follow. Make sure you retweet wherever we are active, guys. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you guys then. See you.